for 10 Minutes to Your Health. We're talking lupus, what it is, symptoms to watch, and how it's managed with expert insight from rheumatologist Dr. Desiree Reid and lupus warrior, always great to have her, Danielle Hall. Morning, ladies.
Morning. Morning.
Of course, this discussion is taking place ahead of World Lupus Day, which is this Sunday, May 10. Mother's Day as well, so it's a great day because we have a lot of mothers in Jamaica who are lupus warriors. Doc, let me start with you. What is lupus and why is it called an invisible illness?
Yes, Danielle can tell you more about her experience with that. But lupus is an autoimmune condition, and that's a mouthful for many people. I start by saying it's not cancer and it's not contagious. It just means that your immune system becomes dysfunctional and starts attacking healthy tissues and organs. Hence auto, meaning self, immune, referring to the immune system. So there are many autoimmune conditions, but lupus is considered one of the most serious.
Wow.
Because with lupus, almost any organ or tissue can become involved.
It's one of those things, Danielle, that, we're now becoming more and more aware, thanks to people like you and your advocacy. I mean, before, people had no clue, and then when we heard lupus, we were like, what is this? And it seemed like we're still learning about it. Is that why days like Sunday, World Lupus Day, is very important?
Well, just like myself, it was something new for me as well. So we consider it an invisible illness because many patients look well, but we're not well internally. We're fighting internal battles, internal struggles that the body is attacking us on the inside pretty much. And so World Lupus Day, as I was sharing before we came in, is that it doesn't give us enough opportunity really to share on the disease, but it is important because it gives us some space to really talk about what lupus is and how it affects persons who live with it, and also to encourage the persons who support us with the disease. And this is not just in Jamaica, it's worldwide. So everywhere across the world will be observing the day, not just as Mother's Day, but as World Lupus Day.
And the theme, I think, is Get Loud, Make Lupus.
It's Make Lupus Visible. And you have one fight, one community, one voice. But I have brain fog daily, so I might not have gotten that order correctly.
No, man, that's all right. What's most important is it's the invisible illness, and you're trying to make it visible. And how important is that? Because it's one thing for the warrior to know what's happening with them, but it's also important for the support systems, for work, for home.
All the environments that we're in, all our networks. So whether it's work, home, your church, friends, all the relationships that we're in, anyone that you're in contact with should be aware of what you are going through because, as I said, it's on the inside. It doesn't necessarily show. So lupus has many symptoms and there are overlapping symptoms from other conditions. So like for myself, I have lupus, I have fibromyalgia, and I have Sjogren's syndrome, which is another autoimmune condition. So I have 3 fights that are going on. Lupus is a jealous disease, in my opinion, so it doesn't like when fibromyalgia is acting up. And so there's a constant fight, which will result in excessive pain. There are other symptoms like hair loss, weight gain from medication, just general body changes, fatigue. So what's easy for you to do is not easy for me to do. Simple daily tasks, spreading your bed, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. Those things may seem normal and easy for the normal person or someone living without an illness, but for us, it's extremely difficult. We can have days that we are up and about, like I am right now, but the pain is still there. And then there are days when we're completely down and unable to do what we would normally want to do. So it is very important for us to be able to get the space and opportunity to share about what's going on.
Danielle shared some of the things that happened with her, and in everyone, the symptoms are different.
Yes.
How does lupus affect most Jamaicans? What are some of the most similar things that you see happening here?
Yes, there's a reason they call it the disease of many faces, is that lupus can present itself in so many ways. It can affect many organs. The skin is one of them, and in that case, it may be visible. unusual skin rashes, as Daniel mentioned, hair loss, sometimes rashes that scar or disfigure, right? Internally, though, a number of organs can be involved, one of the key ones being the kidney. And this is why the founder of Lupus Foundation was actually a nephrologist, because up to around 60% of persons with lupus can have kidney involvement at some stage, at some point in their illness. And this can be one of the critical experiences that can affect a person's life. As we've seen many persons, you know, Selena Gomez and that sort of thing, life-changing experiences. The heart, the lungs, the joints. Joint pain is a very common symptom. Fatigue.
I was going to say, I know the nephrologists are usually a part of the treatment plan, but the rheumatologist was new to me, but now you're explaining
that as well. Right. Rheumatologists are often most often the key coordinator of care for lupus, because it's a systemic condition, but it affects the joints quite commonly, and also even like the blood. You know, anemia, severe falls in the blood count. So there are a number of life-threatening conditions. Even the brain, you can have seizures, you can have, you know, persons going into a comatose state because of lupus. So there are a number of things that can happen. Fortunately, not everybody is affected like this. And no two persons with lupus will have the same presentation.
Does that make it difficult to diagnose because of the range? So
that can make it difficult to diagnose. And this is why awareness is so important. Awareness is important in the medical community, but also in the general population. In lupus, we have a very high rates of lupus. In Afro-Caribbean populations generally, and certainly in Jamaica, we see more severe lupus.
Yes.
And we know that it often comes on at a age to be affected by illness. For instance, we know that most persons with lupus are women, 9-to-1 ratio of women to men. And we also notice that most people are young when they're diagnosed. The age of diagnosis on average is 22. So most people are diagnosed between the ages of 15 and 44, and up to 20% of persons are children at the time of diagnosis. And so as we recognize Teachers' Day yesterday, and as we recognize Mother's Day, we're also aware of how critical it is for all of us to be aware of this condition. We might be the one who recognizes the symptoms and may lead to the person getting an intervention that saves their life.
It's very important. So I mean, when I listen to Danielle, I was like, sometimes we don't know what people are going through, and we label them as lazy, you're not focused, you're not disciplined, and we don't know, what people are going through.
Right.
And I add, Delia, that symptoms may manifest later on. So you might be faced with a challenge now or a symptom now, and then later on, something else can happen. So for example, with myself, I never encountered a skin issue until 5 years later with lupus. I never encountered a kidney issue until 2 years ago. Doc. Yeah, so it can start off with just mild symptoms, and then something else can just develop.
All right, ladies, we have to go. It's Sunday. What's your key message to Jamaica? We're wearing purple. For sure.
We're in purple tomorrow into Sunday.
Yes, we're using a heavily digital first campaign, so we encourage everybody to follow our social media campaigns. We're having interviews like this. Wear Purple on Friday, which is May 8th, to show your solidarity with persons living with lupus, corporate persons. We're encouraging companies to allow your workers to wear purple and light up your buildings in purple. Change your social media, backgrounds to purple. Let's have a wave of awareness. It's a time when people are looking and recognizing all the daughters, mothers, caregivers who may be affected by this condition. And it's a start of a conversation to learn more, to get involved. You can make a donation, follow us, and show your support.
All right, we got to go, ladies. Thank you so much, Danielle. You're a champ.
Thank you.
We'll deliver your T-shirt.
Thank you, rheumatologist Dr. Desiree Tulloch Reid and lupus warrior Danielle Hall. That's 10 Minutes to Your Health. We'll do it again next Thursday. Up next, it gets witty with a young, impressionable mind. Well, Neville is the impressionable mind. Witty is the young lady. We'll be back soon.